Hi there guys, got a video here for you today, and what we're going to be doing is making a hammer spring adjusting tool for the Anschutz 9015. In the background you're going to be seeing me make that. It's very simple, so what I thought we'd do instead of talking through the process is I'd go through some FAQs that we normally get in regards to my machines and sort of my tools. So first off, the lathe that we're using in the video is a Warco GH1230. Before I bought this lathe new, I was looking at the second-hand market, trying to find a decent machine in good condition for a reasonable price, although unfortunately most of the machines I could find for sale were either way too expensive for what they were, or required extensive work to get them into serviceable conditions. So I decided to circumnavigate all that and just buy a new machine, and it's a decision that I don't regret in the slightest. This machine here has served me well for the years that I've used it. It's never once missed a beat, and it's more than capable of producing accurate, repeatable work. It was a similar story for the mill, and I again decided to buy a new machine, so I went to Warco and picked out the Super Major mill. But for the work we do, and gunsmithing in general, they're more than adequate, as long as they're used right. Another question we get asked quite frequently is in regards to the tools that we use on the lathe, and the turning tool that you've seen me use in the video so far is an SVJCR with a 16mm shank. That sounds more confusing than it actually is. What I'll do is very briefly I'll show you a graphic on screen, and that'll break it down for you so it's nice and easy to understand. The reason I like these turning tools so much is that they're quite narrow and fairly pointy, so you can get them in places that you wouldn't normally be able to get sort of a wider tool. But for small diameters you need a tool that's nice and narrow so that you can get in between your lathe centre and the work itself and do some cuts, which is something that wider inserts can't deal with. And the particular insert that we're using in this tool is a VCGT 110304. Again, I'll put a graphic on screen now to show you exactly what those letters and numbers actually mean. And I think the particular brand of insert that I'm using there is an APT or an Arno, one of them two. And these ones are specially coated for working with steel. The other ones that you see me using quite frequently on the channel are the silver coloured ones, or the polished colour ones, and those are specifically designed for cutting aluminium. They're highly polished so the aluminium doesn't stick to the insert, and they're the same classification although they are uncoated. The final thing we get asked about normally on the lathe is the tool holders themselves, so the quick change tool post. And that unit is from Pee Wee Tools over in Germany. It's a Swiss multi-fix style. I think there are Chinese copies of them out there now, but this one is a Pee Wee Tools one, and it is an absolutely fantastic piece of kit. The tool changes are incredibly easy. A simple lever unlocks the tool and allows you to take it out and put another one in. And the tool holders themselves are incredibly repeatable. Fantastic if you're making a batch of things. You don't need to touch off your tools every time you change tool holders. You can just do the first one, set your zeros, and then work off them zeros as you work through the batch. The last thing I want to mention is the Allen keys that we normally use in the videos. So the red handled Allen keys that we use in pretty much every video are EDS Allen keys. They range from 1.5mm all the way up to 5mm, and in my opinion they're pretty much the best Allen keys that you can get for working on guns. Hopefully with that all being said, that's answered some of your questions that you might have about this channel and the machine tools that we use in the videos. So with that all being said, we'll transfer back over to the bench and I'll show you the tool in action. Right then, so that's the tool pretty much all complete. So I'll give you a good look over it there. So the only thing I didn't show the making of was this T handle here, although that was just a piece of 3mm silver steel that I just cut to length. So the O-ring and the Delrin shaft here, or the Delrin tube, slides over the tool like so and allows us to adjust it in the back of the rifle. I'll show you exactly how that works in a minute. It's very simple. So there it is there. If we have a look at the back of the rifle, this part here is our hammer spring adjuster. And obviously our pin here is the same offset to mirror the hammer spring adjuster itself. So all we do is we put the tool in the hole there, then slide this Delrin shaft, or Delrin tube I should probably say, and now we can adjust the hammer spring to where we want it to be. So I'm just going to leave it where it was, but we do have that adjustment tool there now. So the purpose of this Delrin tube is so that the tool can actually be held in one position inside the back of the rifle so that the pin here can rotate on the central axis rather than using the pin axis to rotate around, if that makes sense. Probably if I was making another one, I'd make it as one unit without this Delrin slidey piece here. The thought process of the Delrin adjustable end here was that I was worried that if we needed to adjust the hammer spring like a few turns, the pin might become de-seated from the adjuster in the back of the rifle itself. So having this piece adjustable means that we can always keep the tool exactly where it needs to be and nice and close to the back of the hammer spring adjuster itself. Although on this particular rifle the hammer spring adjustment is fairly coarse. Quarter of a turn on the hammer spring is sort of 15 to 20 feet per second. So you're really not going to be doing sort of 3 full rotations on the hammer spring. It is a very, very coarse adjustment, and as such you're sort of only really tweaking the hammer spring up and down to get the power that you need. And if I'm completely honest with you, I'm probably going to do away with this setup altogether and just make a new hammer spring adjuster in the back with either a slot for a flat bladed screwdriver or an Allen key head in there, so I can just use a standard Allen key. However, we did need the tool to get the hammer spring adjuster itself out of the rifle, so we will be using it. Right then guys, that's pretty much going to do it for this video, so thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.